underground stuff. This is about CATV. Um, there we go. Nope, not quite. Okay, underground stuff. This is about CATV. I live in a neighborhood where there's a neighborhood website and people can bitch and moan about everything, and they're always bitching and moaning about their internet. It goes in and out all the time. They can't maintain a good connection, and they blame it on the provider, be it Verizon or Cox or whatever. Okay, all I want to do, and I already did a long one of these, I'm going to try to make this one shorter, is that Cox or Verizon, DirecTV, I don't care who it is, if they're providing an underground cable to you, they're responsible to bring that signal, the cable TV, and it also carries internet now, up to your house, where it connects onto a cable coming out of the wall of your house. It runs into your house. They're only responsible for coming up to your house, providing you access. Where that cable enters your house and goes wherever it goes, that's all you. Okay? And that's usually the problem that people are having with internet connection not being reliable and stable, and they're blaming it on Cox when in fact it's probably the cabling in your house. And you go, well, I don't know anything about any cabling in my house. And that's probably the case. Once upon a time, early on, no houses had cable TV wiring, even just for cable TV, much less internet. But in the last 40 years, most houses have some sort of cable TV wiring already in the house, maybe not optimal locations, but it was wired for cable TV, and thus, when cable TV people started offering internet, it brought internet capability into your home as well over that same cable. Okay, but the two are different. CATV is one thing, internet something else. The signal that you get for your cable is way stronger than the signal you get for your internet off that same wire. I won't go into the technicals of it, but where your cable TV was working just fine, you didn't have a problem with it, but now you have a problem with internet. It's because the whole layout inside your house in terms of cabling and how it was installed and how it was connected worked fine for CATV because the signal's strong enough, but it's not fine enough for when you're playing with internet. Okay, so as I said, all the wiring in your house is you, and typically you don't know anything about it, and you don't even know who installed it. And here's an example. I had a house renovated, and new electric wiring was run everywhere, and I had it wired for cable. And when we were all done, I come down into the basement, and in one location right near all the power panels, of course, are all these cables for cable TV just hanging out of the ceiling. I didn't know which one was the end, came in from outside. I didn't know which one went to what room or anything else. That's the way they left me. Now, you probably didn't experience that. Somehow, somebody has connected the outside cable that came in from Cox or Verizon or whoever. They connected it in some way to all of those places in the house where you have access to cable TV. You have an outlet there, and there's a coax connector there, and you can connect a cable TV set-top box, or you can connect a router to that cable. Okay. Who did that and how they did it, I'm sure it's a mystery to you. I'm not sure. I know who would have done it for you. But anyway, they're usually done wrong, okay? The conventional methodology over the years is always to use what's called splitters. You only have one cable coming in. Somehow you have to get that one signal to 20 different places in your house. So how do you do that? You do it via what's called a splitter. And typically a splitter has one input, and then it may have 2, 4, 6, or 8 outputs out of it. So you can bring Cox in one, and you can then shoot Cox signal to 8 different places where there's an outlet in the wall where you can connect your TV to. Okay, that's a 1 to out, 1 to 8, 1 to 4, 1 to 2. Splitters vary in the number of outputs they have. Every splitter drops the signal strength 7 dB. And you go, I don't care about the number. The point is, it drops the signal strength. One splitter in the circuit wouldn't be so bad. You probably aren't experiencing a lot of problems with internet or CATV if you had only one splitter. But I'm pretty much willing to guarantee you don't have just one. You have multiple, and that's what happens over time. For a good example, is electricians ran the cable TV all the way to the attic, because then they were going to go from there down to various rooms. And they may have installed splitters in the attic where out of the coax cable there was a splitter. They ran a cable all the way to the attic, then they put another splitter there, and then they ran it down the walls into various rooms. So you have 2 splitters in the circuit automatically. You've already dropped the signal by half what you got in from coax. Okay. Sometimes you'll see 4 or 5 splitters getting from where it comes in to where you want to attach your router or your CATV. The signal has got seriously degraded in that. In my case here in this home, from where it comes into the house to where all the connections are made, it's a good probably 40, 50, 60 feet. So I have a cable coming all the way across the bottom in the basement of the house, and it terminates here in an unfinished portion of the house. And from there I have 20 cables hanging out that go to various places in the house. When I moved in, it was a whole rat's nest of splitters. Whoever did it didn't care and didn't know, and so the cox came into one, and there were 2 outs, and then from there they took one and went to another splitter and then connected some more into that. And I had probably 15 splitters involved. So at any one location, the signal strength was crap. And that's typical, okay? Splitters, not only do they reduce the signal strength, they can also go bad. They degrade over time. So even if it was done properly, you have to replace those splitters periodically. I'm sure that's one of the problems you're having with your house. If at the modem, if you cannot maintain a good signal connection at the modem, it's because it is not getting a good signal through your portion, your home portion of the cabling, okay? The second issue you can have is you get cox and you set up the modem and you're just using it, you're connecting via Wi-Fi. I hate Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is good for 10 feet. Other than that, don't use it. Wi-Fi is good for portable devices that are not sitting near an Ethernet port. If at all possible, any computer device should be connected to your router via Ethernet cable. Ethernet cable can get you up to 1 gigabit per second speed. If you're using a wireless one, the fastest you can get is maybe a couple hundred megabits per second, and you don't ever get that because Wi-Fi is adaptive and it tries to make a connection at the highest speed, and if it can, it drops down to the next lower protocol or connection speed and tries to make a connection at that. If it can't do that, it drops down and keeps dropping down. You finally get a semi-stable connection at a very slow speed. It is adaptive like that. Wi-Fi is good for portable devices. Do not use it for anything where you need a consistent, high-speed internet connection. If you have a computer sitting right by your router, please connect it using an Ethernet cable. If you don't know what an Ethernet cable looks like, they sell them everywhere. Get yourself an Ethernet connector, and you have it on a connection on your laptop or your computer for Ethernet port, and connect it directly to your router and change over to that and turn off the Wi-Fi on your laptop or your desktop or whatever it is and use that Ethernet connection. It'll be way faster and it will stay up for you, okay? That's one. Don't use Wi-Fi unless you absolutely positively have to. And believe me, if you put one router in your house, and if you have a big house, you're not going to get a high-speed connection in the 3rd floor up in a bedroom that's 50, 80 feet away from your router. It's just not going to happen. You may have been sold the idea that you can do it, but it will not be consistent. It will not be at a fast speed, okay? Don't use Wi-Fi unless for portable devices. If you got, you're moving a laptop around. I have a laptop right by my seat in the living room, but I don't have an Ethernet port around, and it's like 30 feet from where the router is, and it's putting out a big Wi-Fi signal there, and it works fine. If I were to take it out in the yard, I don't have to go very far at all. I don't get any signal. It just doesn't work that distance. So if you've got available Ethernet port near your computer that you're using, please use the Ethernet cable. Do not rely on Wi-Fi. You don't need to. Okay, back to the cabling problem. I'm sure part of your signal strength problem that you're occurring is your router. If you can't get enough Ethernet or internet signal to your router, it won't make it won't keep a solid connection. It's constantly dropping out between you and the Cox internet world. That's because the cabling that's coming into your house that Cox is trying to run to is suffering severe losses. Every time the two cables are even connected together to extend the length of a cable, that destroys signal strength. If it goes through 3 splitters, you have dropped the signal strength by 3 times, 10 times, 15 times, whatever. You're not getting the full money from Cox because your cabling is not up to snuff. It's not like electrical switch where you either have it or you don't. That's not Ethernet. It's not like on or off. It can be iffy. And again, internet and even Ethernet is adaptive, and it will try to go at a lower speed to make a solid connection. But if it can't at that lower, it drops down a lower speed. In the case of Cox, if you can't connect, it'll try to reconnect again, and it may last for a little bit of time, but then the signal's so poor that you're sending back that it can't maintain that connection, and it drops out again. And that's not their problem, that's your problem. Okay? In the case of Wi-Fi, just remember your little devices, the antenna, you don't have some giant antenna sticking out of your desktop or your laptop. The antenna is about this long, right there. You're not sending any real good signal back to your router. And it does have to be back and forth. You're sending and receiving, and what you're sending is nothing. Hardly anything. And your router is not a miracle. It can't receive a little teeny signal that you're sending 3/4 up. It just doesn't work that way. You might have been sold that it worked that way, but that's not it. Use Ethernet if you possibly can, and look at your cable routing. Eliminate as many splitters as you possibly can. Now, how do I deal with it? First of all, I have Ethernet wherever I could possibly run it. I don't care for Wi-Fi at all, so every computer except ones I walk around with. Well, you can't, there's no Ethernet port on an iPad or an iPhone, so you got to use Wi-Fi for that. Okay. But for any desktop or any other device that has an Ethernet port, use it near where you have an Ethernet port, which is, you have 4 of them on the back of your router from Cox. You can use 4 right there. You can connect 4 devices into that. On your cabling, I solve it by using what's called a bidirectional power amplifier for CATV. Now what that does, I feed it Cox signal directly from where it comes into my house. No connectors, no splitters of the line, anything. Directly from where it comes in. It does run like 40 feet, which suffers cable loss. But it goes directly into my power amplifier, and from there it amplifies 8 outs. It amplifies them to what's 7 dB, which is approximately the loss that always occurs when you split a cable. Okay, so basically it's just returning the signal strength I'm sending out back to what I got from Cox. It's not degraded, but it's the same signal. It didn't boost it up any, it just maintains it. So I have what Cox has given me, whatever it is, if it's low or high or medium. I'm just making sure that it is available where I'm going to put my router, and the router can make a solid connection. Okay, I'm not going to go any farther than that on this because the last time it went too long and it didn't like it. But the point being is, if you're having consistent drop problems with any of your internet provider, you have to start looking at the cabling inside your house. You can recognize a splitter when you see one. The more splitters you got, the worse it is. You want to eliminate as many possible splitters as you can. A cable junction, just where your male and female go together to extend a cable, that has less loss in it than an actual splitter. So if you have to go that route, go that route. My suggestion is you look at a bidirectional powered, has to be plugged in an outlet, but a bidirectional power amplifier for your cable TV system, and that solves a myriad of problems. That's enough for today. This is Uncle Ron's stuff, and today is the 16th of June, 2025, and hopefully this one will properly record and I can share it. Bye-bye for today.